Yeah, I just phoned Kevin Paddock. Well, not just actually. I phoned him earlier this morning. Me and Kevin had a good talk. Kevin Paddock, I was supposed to go down and see him Wednesday or Thursday, but I can't because he's in hospital for a couple of days or a couple of 3 days, and he's going to leave. He's just said leave me alone for a couple of 3 weeks. He said then come down and we'll do a good video podcast. Yeah, I said okay, mate. So I was just talking to him in general about things, because I just want to put the phone down. And I was talking to him about fights, boxing and that. And he was telling me that he had 70 odd amateur fights. He had about 20 odd professional fights. And he only had 4 unlicensed fights. And he said to me that the first unlicensed fight he had was with Lenny McLean. He said he was really, really fit when he fought Lenny. Really fit, yeah. And Lenny come out the first couple of rounds to sort of started smashing Kevin all around the ring. He said, "Wow, I was so fit." He said Lenny weren't fit. He was a big, big man. He said and he blew out. He said it was an eight round fight. He said and I beat him for 6 rounds. He said I got the points to verge on it. And he said the next one I boxed. He said I went drinking. Started getting boozy with my brother Sid. Sid started doing the unlicensed fighting with me. I think Sid had about 6 unlicensed fights, something like that, or maybe not even many as that. But he said the next one I had was with you, Ray. It's Cat's Whiskers, I think it was, or something like that. He said me and you in 8 rounds. He said that was a really, really good fight, Ray. He said I drew with you. I said that's right, yeah. And he said that the next one I had was with Roy Shaw. He said, Roy Shaw, man. He said he was so fit, Ray. He said, he beat me, Roy. He said, but if I was being as fit as I was when I fought Lenny, I'd have beat Roy. But fair play to Roy, a man of 44, being so fit as that, he said, I couldn't beat him. He said he really beat me easy, yeah, I mean. He said, fair play to Roy Shaw, good fight, mate. I forget who he said he fought the fourth one, but he said like he said brilliant fights. He said you and Lenny were good fights. So then he said, he was just talking in general, and then he said to me, look, I started talking about his brother Sid. His brother Sid had a club. Sid, he had the accident with the bus. He had his leg off. But he still used to go training, Sid. He still used to go training. But before that, he used to play rugby. He was a really good rugby player, Sid. He got right into the rugby as well. And he said he was really fit and strong, mate. He said when he fought you, boxed you, he was fit and strong, and they was, yeah. He fought John O'Gardner. He said, Sid Paddock said, John O'Gardner beat me easy. You know what I mean? Because he's a good pro, John O'Gardner, and he beat Sid quite easy, yeah? He's a good man, Kevin Paddock. Didn't lie, told exactly how it is. And he was saying that when Sid had the car accident, after the accident, he was still going down the gym. But, it got to him after a while that he wasn't the man he thought he was, that he once was. And he went into drink. And he said, he was drinking too much, Ray. He was drinking maybe a litre of vodka a day, and about 10, 15, 20 cans of beer a day, and his liver just collapsed, mate. He said his liver was twice the size as it should be. He said that's really what killed him, the liver and all that, and the car accident, having the accident with the bus. And someone like that was so into, I've got to say it, Sid Paddock was very, very fit. And Kevin was saying to me, he's always in the gym, always fit. And Kevin said to me, when he was a pro, and he was working as an engineer, civil engineer, like taking his course for civil engineering, he said, well, I used to get up in the morning, he said I used to run, go down the gym, and then come back at night time and go in the gym 4 or 5 times at night, 4 or 5 hours, and train. He said I was so fit, I went, do you miss it, Kev? He said, no, I don't. He said, because I was quite a lazy person to train. He said, I didn't like training, I hated it, As a pro, I did. But after that, unlicensed fighting. Didn't think it was necessary. There was no one I was really worried about, he said. But if I'd have been fit, as when I fought Lenny, if I'd have been as fit as I fought Lenny, I'd have beat Roy, yeah? As easy as that. And then we just talking in general. You know, he was talking about me when I fought him. He was talking about Sid when I fought Sid. Both of them fights were draws. But I'm going to go down and see him because there's a lot more he's going to talk about. He's going to talk about when after we had the fight, we went down the pub, the Harp and Herring, with Billy and Harry Hayward. And he was talking about Bill and Harry, what they're like. I said, yeah, they was gangsters. He went, yeah, he said, they were nice people. He said, we stayed there for a couple of hours. He said, you left early? I said, yeah, I left earlier. But it's a shame, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Me and him was having, and I was getting into him. I said, look, you know, come on, mate. Why don't I come down now? I'll get on a train. I'll come down now. He said, Ray. He said, look, leave it until after the operation, yeah? I'm not too good at the minute. Leave it till after the op, yeah? He said, after that, we can have do a nice video podcast. He said, it'd be lovely, mate. I said, okay. You know, then I put him over to Terry. Terry come in, and then Terry was talking to him about the operation and this, that, and the other. You know, Kevin Paddock has lost 8 stone. You know, he was 30 stones, Kevin. 30 stone, man. You know, he's only about 5'8", not even that. You know what I mean? Big man, big, powerful man. And as he said, he could take a bang. You know, he's never been knocked down in all the fights he's had. 70 amateurs, you know, 20 odd as a professional, and 4 unlicensed fights. He's never ever been on the canvas. Was that a good record or what? Anyway, just a quick one. Bang, bang, roll. Good morning.